Jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. Not jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. With Rudy Tyburczy.
Hello, and what is up, my friends? Welcome to another edition of Jokes and the Gym with Rudy Tyburczy. It's your boy, Rudy Tyburczy, coming at you with the 91st consecutive week of this darn podcast. And if you're listening, I appreciate you. Thank you for hanging out, for sticking with me this whole time. 91 weeks, y'all. That's what this is. Can you believe it? I think I can. I think I can believe it. I'm the kind of guy who likes to do stuff consistently over time. That's something that I pride myself on. That's a part of who I say that I am. If I say I'm going to do something, I tend to do it. I have a lot of ideas. I have a lot of exciting things I want to do. I have a lot of stuff that I bring up in conversation and toss about with friends. Do I always do that? No. I've been criticized by friends in the past. I remember my good friend Jeff saying something like, "Dang it, Rudy, you have so many ideas." And he's right. I do. I have a lot of ideas. I have a lot of things that I like to do on a regular basis. And I don't always get to finishing it, but I do stick to stuff, I think, stuff that's meaningful to me, like this. This is a meaningful podcast for me, and I'm thankful that I get to do this. Sorry, one of my cats, Milk, is going crazy outside. He's just flying all over the place. Sometimes he just like fights with the air, you know? You ever see a cat just be like, dog, 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 and then they flip all over the place and fight their own butt? Sometimes that's what it feels like with my brain. And having had this tumor experience and still continuing to go through this experience, I think I'm beginning to understand why my brain has done and does what it does, because there was just so much pressure on there. And, you know, this morning I spent a decent amount of time because I'm still going through a lot of stuff. I have a big heart procedure next month, and I have to have another diagnostic test. What is it? A CTA, a computed tomography angiogram, done next month in October, a week before I get my ablation done. So having a lot of things done that don't typically happen to people in their 40s. But you know what? That's freaking life. So I don't know, Rudy, grow up and deal with it. No, I also want to have compassion for myself, because compassion acknowledges the challenges that we do face. And that I think that that's something that a lot of us lack, is not necessarily compassion for others, but compassion for ourselves. I feel like we get so caught up in trying to go, 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 do, do, do. And we forget that we can grant ourselves some grace. We forget that treating ourselves like a friend is important. That was something Tom Rhodes said on the podcast, friend of the show. And it's something that I try to keep in mind. It's something I've heard before and thought of afterwards. And if we treated ourselves like we treat the people in our lives that we care about, I think that would help us a lot. I think we'd reduce a lot of unnecessary stress. Some stress is good. It's funny. Stress is one of those things that's both good and bad for us. It can help us get stronger, get better, a certain amount of stress, and then it can also harm us and hurt us if we're constantly in this fight or flight, if we're constantly unsure of ourselves and what to do. Some kinds of stresses can really help us grow, and some stresses can hold us back. And that's what's so freaking challenging about it, is figuring out what that line is for you. So like that's something that I'm trying to figure out, is like, how do I manage the stress moving forward, especially now when I'm still going through so many big, challenging life and health things. the brain thing, I had the surgery, it has gone well, and some people think, okay, you're good, that's it, you're good to go, you got it out, Tommy's gone, good luck. But you know what, in like half of cases that you get a tumor removed, something comes back. So that's not the case. For the next 2 years, the oncologist said I should be getting MRIs every 3 months, just to make sure that we're staying on top of it, just to make sure that it's not coming back, and if it does, then we can have a plan of attack moving forward. And so at the same time as I'm doing that, where this cancerous tumor, these cells might return somehow, I'm still having work done on my heart. I have an irregular heartbeat. I still have AFib. I have cardiomyopathy. I'm going under for ablation. I'm on blood thinners, on beta blockers. I'm doing things to make my life better, my health better, my heart stronger moving forward, because you know what, like, this stuff could work, but it could also, we'll see. So trying to figure out and balance how to move forward and do the things I love and also take care of myself, and so I'm I'm just trying to figure it all out, and it's tough because there's a lot I still want to do. And it's hard to make some of those things happen when you think like about your mortality hanging in the balance. Sometimes it's like, oh yeah, I could die, so I better friggin' go. That's something that I've always thought of, and I'm don't look at it like as a downer, but it's just like, okay, well, who knows how long this life is here for us. And so that's something I'm thankful that I have at least wrangled with at some points in my life. So now when it is, I do have to stare it in the face. I don't have just a terrified response. And I think that having done comedy for so long has kind of helped with that. I'm not, I don't, if you can get on stage and face that, then you can face a lot of stuff. So I try not to back down from challenges. And that's what I try to do with these health challenges right now. You want to fight? You want to fight hard? Let's take a look at me, man. I'm not like trying to fight. I'm like, let's see what you got. Let's see what we're here for. Because that's my life. This is my body. My brain. It's like, okay, Tommy, let's get out of here. Looking at my big head. That's one of the things I realized with Tommy, is that he just I've always kind of thought I had a big old noggin, but now I realize it's because I had a stowaway upstairs, and look at, like, just big old cranium, tons of noggin. He moved out, but he left the space. You know what I mean? So I got my post-surgery follow-up next week with my surgeon, which I'm excited to talk with her about. I got this bump on my head that you can kind of, it looks like a big, like, beauty mark type thing. I looked it up, and it should be fine. It should kind of, this stuff should just like go back into my head, but I don't necessarily want that forever. I got this scar forever, but whatever. That's cool. Chicks dig scars, right? Somebody want a scar that looks like a horseshoe on my cranium? Maybe not. Somebody's got it. So just also realizing how connected the brain stuff and the heart stuff is. I see it, and I think it just helps me be kinder to myself and to be kinder to others as well, because we've got a lot going on, and a lot of it's invisible, and we don't know what the deal is. But I've always, like I said, kind of had a bunch of different priorities, and that's no different right now. Right now, I have a bunch of things that I'm doing right now. The podcast, 91 weeks straight. I'm excited about that. Excited to keep that going. I have some plans to adjust it moving forward, maybe do it a little less frequently, but we'll talk about that later. I got the podcast. I'm also trying to work on my YouTube channel. I'm working on some videos and stuff like that, kind of to repurpose some of these and share some of my story about the tumor and finding out about it leading up to surgery and post-surgery and this kind of stuff. because that I think is important to share. I think it's important to share our stories. And I know that some people are interested in hearing those. And I think YouTube is a nice place for longer form content, 5 to 10 minute stuff. Although, how my brain is mush sometimes. You know what I mean? Like I try to watch a 10-minute video sometimes. I'm like, oh, when is this thing going to end? 10 minutes. Who has 10 minutes? I get 5 minutes through and I'm like, geez, fast forward. Let's put it on 1.5 speed. You know what I mean? What speed do you watch YouTube stuff on? What speed are you watching this on right now? Are you like, get on with it, dude? But I know that if people listen to podcasts, they're largely in it to just kind of like listen in the background and get to know the hosts. And so maybe I want to change some of that. I might want to have, I do want to do a couple things. I want to get back into interviews. People have reached out. I'm going to have some of my first ones in a while, pretty soon. Friend of the show, Mike Kaplan, should be on again. I'm excited about that. Talked also with Sonny about being on the show. He and I have chatted about it, as well as a few other friends of mine. So I'm excited to get back into that. And I want to talk with authors, with people who've been through tumor stuff, health professionals, other comedians as well, and open it up and maybe adjust some of the questions and ways that I format the conversations. So I'm excited about that. Excited to continue again making some YouTube content that's maybe a little more focused, that's maybe like video essays almost, because I kind of like some of that stuff. Are you watching any video? Do you have any YouTube creators that you like? There's some cool ones. Anybody watching Elephant Graveyard these days? They're getting a lot of heat. Mark Maron appreciated them, showed some love on Pod Save America, and I would echo that. If you're interested in seeing some kind of progressive takes on what the comedy scene looks like in a creative video essay format that's satirical and funny and serious and kind of sad at the same time, check out that Elephant Graveyard on YouTube. So my podcast, my YouTube stuff, and I'm also working on getting recertified, maintaining my certification, and getting a health certification for my personal training through NASM. And so that's going slowly, but I have a couple months to finish that up. And I'm a little nervous about it. It's like you know how it is when you like get back to studying after brain surgery. You know how that is. It's hard to stay focused for too long. And that's always been a thing for me, is maintaining that focus. And sometimes when you're like reading kind of dense information and stuff that isn't super duper applicable all the time to helping yourself and your clients, it can take its toll and be hard to kind of get through those chapters. So if I get through a chapter or two most days, then I'm happy about that. And so, I might skim the chapter and then take the quizzes on each section and then take the big chapter quiz. And once I get through all 24 chapters, then I'm going to try my first attempt at the big test. I got to get 70 out of 100 right. And I get 3 attempts to do that. So I got to get those done before sometime in November for the recertification. You got to get a couple units, continuing education units through NASM to maintain the NASM certification. And sometimes it feels like a bit of a money grab, but I also want to maintain those certifications so I can continue forth training people in good conscience. And not that I wouldn't know how to do it if I didn't have this certification, but I just want to make sure to get it freaking done. And so that's one of those priorities. But then another priority that's popped up recently, again, that's re-popped up. Some of you know I wrote 8 episodes of a TV series for just like for doing it during the pandemic. And it was something that I took a lot of pride in. I wrote the pilot and then at the beginning of the pandemic, and then I made it a goal to like write 1 page a day until I wrote a whole 8 episode arc. And it's kind of like one of these single cam comedy drama things. I was really inspired by like stuff like Dave. That was what the first one was, but just my story moving back home. So I liked it, and the people I shared it with seemed to enjoy it and gave me good feedback. But that's the other thing, is like getting anybody to read anything that can move anywhere or like do anything, like to get eyes on it, that might want to buy it or might want to like add you to the writing team, because that's what you're supposed to do if you want to get on a writing team, is write original pilots. And so I wrote that, and then I started also a movie script, a couple of short things. Got about 30 pages into the movie script. I still haven't. I wrote a page or two a month ago and haven't gotten back into that. But there's another pilot idea that I had, that I wanted to start working on. So I've jumped back into that. I had an idea for it a month or two ago, and I'm getting back into reading what Save the Cat writes for TV, just to kind of like get the wheels turning again. I've written a page or two of the cold open and watched some episodes of TV shows, kind of, think shows like The Office or Parks and Rec or Tires or AP Bio, stuff like that. That's kind of like this single cam comedy stuff, and just building on my experiences. I think, having worked where I have for a while and having had this brain and heart stuff go on has been really eye-opening. And so I think it'll lend itself to both heartfelt and humorous fodder for potential TV shows. So I'm excited to get back into that. But, all these things, my podcast, my YouTube page, my recertification, and writing a pilot script, like that's a lot of different priorities that I'm excited about all of those things. I want to continue with all those things. Like, and yeah, it's like hard to juggle so many different priorities, but at the same time, I'm excited to have a few things that I can work on. And I don't know about you, but sometimes when I have like a bunch of time, like I do right now, like I'm off from work, I am having another procedure in a couple weeks, I got to do all this kind of stuff. There's a lot like on my mind, and when I have like a ton of time and I have a bunch of things I want to do, it feels like I almost have no time. It's like, oh well, I don't know, it's 10:30 a.m. I haven't reached my freaking goals. I didn't write 2 pages and read 2 chapters and make an entire video, so the day is fucking shot. I hate that I feel that way sometimes. I'm like, oh wow, it's 12 a.m. and you haven't made your dreams a reality. Grow up, you freaking chump. And I feel like that's why I'm trying to move away from this like grind mentality and have it be okay that I'm not doing a bunch of stuff all the time, that I still can't drive, I still can't work out, I still can't do a bunch of stuff. And so I'm trying to figure out things that I can do, and then also things, once I get a little more further along in my recovery process, once I'm able to work out, once I'm able to drive again and do those things, I'm still trying to do things that I want and that don't require me to like always be going, always be doing stuff, always be out in public, because those aren't always the things I want. It's not always my favorite style of living. And add comedy back into that mix, stand up when I get back into it more. I've done a show, I have another show coming up, I've been booked once or twice, and I'm excited to continue to do that. But I saw a post from another one of my friends, friend of the show, Isaac Paris, talking about how he's only going to do a couple concerts, like music things, like throughout the year, just so he can focus more and give his best for those. And so I really appreciate that, that honesty. You see so many people just post like how full their schedule is and how many shows they're doing. And I get that. And I love that. And I've been there, and I want to continue doing shows, but I don't want to just do so many, because I know that it has drained me, and I know that it will continue to drain me, because my energy levels are different, and that's okay. I have a irregular heartbeat, dude. I have a friggin' crazy ass heart that's wonky donkey. that goes all over the place. I have a hole in my brain. And that's caused me plenty of challenges over the years. And I didn't know any of this until 6 months ago. But I was already on this journey of trying to hold things more lightly, be kinder to myself, and I'm excited to continue forward with that. So just to be a little more intentional with my energy and not feel like I have to go, do. Don't, it's not always about the grind. Wake up and grind. Call me the coffee man because I'm just grinding. I haven't had caffeine in months either. So haven't had caffeinated coffee in a long time. So that kind of feels good not to have to rely on stuff like that either. Haven't had booze or THC or anything like that in a hound's age. So it's been a while. Feeling good about adjusting things and not having to just do stuff because everyone else is doing stuff. And I think that that's okay. And part of that has been also the podcast. I'm not doing it just because you think you need to do it, but I'm doing it every week because that's how you grow and how you learn and how you get into a habit. Like I've said, habits are there when motivation is not. So if I know Mondays are when I make the podcast, that's what I've been doing. I've been making the podcast. I've been putting my stuff out there, and I'm thankful that I've stuck with it. And this is episode 91, coming up on triple digits, baby. But at the same time, sometimes you might feel like you're getting in a rut. Sometimes I don't want to speak for you, but I might feel like I'm getting in a rut sometimes. I have also taken it easy weeks here and there when I've needed to and not felt the need to just like constantly have new guests, something super specific to talk about, even though I have had fairly specific things to talk about. So I think what I'm going to do, little mini, I don't know if it's an announcement because I don't know how it's going to look, little mini announcement about the pod is I think I'll get to 100 episodes, which will take me to like the end of November. And then I might take December off from recording full episodes. Or after episode 100, I might bring back some more interviews or just kind of readjust how I approach it. I might make some episodes a little more focused. Like I said, kind of like essay style. I might have more specific topics. I might bring that into the interviews. I might bring a variety of things. I might revamp my space. Now, I'm trying to figure out a way to have more space where I live because I don't have a ton. So it'd be nice to have, and while I don't mind the visual space of the podcast, when I post clips and stuff, I would also like to have something a little more intentional or a little more spacious or a little more representational of what I want to be talking about. And I do, I got comedy, I got workout, I got friends, that kind of stuff around me. I got a globe and pictures and stuff like that. But yeah, I might just have the format adjust. I might have the visuals adjust. Won't worry about the length. More interviews when possible. Broadening who I speak with and that kind of stuff. So I'm excited to continue and excited to expand to YouTube and excited to get recertified and excited to work on this TV show, this pilot and these other scripts for the season. I'm already working on them, have some ideas, and I'm excited about that. But I just want to do it in a way that's helpful. And I'm excited to get back to work whenever I do, which will probably be sometime late October or November, depending on how recovery from the ablation goes and that kind of stuff, because that's meaningful. I love working with clients and helping them exercise and move their bodies and be more connected with who they are physically. But even that's going to change. And I'm excited to get back to working out. But that's going to be different too. So, the first half of my life was with a big tumor and AFib and stuff. And the second half of my life will be being aware of those things because I didn't know that was part of me. And then I found out and kind of changes things. So I'm excited to get back at it and see how I progress and feel throughout this whole recovery, because you can plan and imagine all day long, but you don't know what's going to hit you. You don't know how life is going to show up. You don't know what your body's going to do all the time. And so building some habit in there to keep you strong through some of these challenges is what I'm thankful that I've been doing. I haven't just been sitting on my keister all the time. And so that's the fine balance, is like, you can't just be on your tush all day, but you can't grind all day, because I feel like I kind of did both in some ways. And now my body just didn't know where to go, and that isn't my fault. But I also want to take learnings from all of these experiences. So yeah, I'm also trying to enjoy myself and get back into doing normal things and have a life and see friends and go out a little bit here and there. So one of the ways I love to do that is through movies. I'm a movie dude. You a movie guy, person, lady? Are you cat? Nutria? I love a movie. I'm happy to see a movie. And so I've it's funny, my brains are so like chunky, so short. I'm like, anytime I see a movie, I feel like I've made an accomplishment, like I've done something, because so much of the time we just like watch videos or episodes of TV, and that just keeps going on forever and ever. Sometimes someone's like, "Oh, you should watch The Sopranos." I'm like, dude, there's 18 seasons of 4-hour-long episodes, and I'm not about that. Watching some violent mobster in therapy for 2 hours for friggin' 700 hours of content. That's too much. So whenever I just kind of started to watch The Boys a little bit from the beginning, because I'd never watched it and I like superhero stuff, whatever. And even that is like, oh, this feels almost like homework to try to get through it. So, you see how it feels, and you try it on and you move forward. So I saw a couple movies. I went to my first movies post-surgery, which felt good, going out in public with the hairdo, with the wild and wacky hair. But in Eugene, I'm finding this is just normal freaking hair. Most of the time, people are like, "Oh, cool hair, dude." I'm like, yeah, it wasn't exactly choice. It was my choice, but my surgeon, she was like, "Are you sure you want just that part shaved?" I was like, "Yeah, go for it. I don't just and here I am. I'm excited because I have a bunch of jokes about it. That's a big part of the jokes I'm telling, and so uh yeah, getting back on stage and working, they went over really well, and working with them and moving stuff around just is exciting and fun to think about that as well. So, and I think that's what doing less comedy also helps you do, is kind of have fun with the craft of it, moving stuff around and adjusting and cutting out words and editing and being a little bit more purposeful and intentional with it. That's a big part of this whole thing. So um, I'm happy to do that. And I was happy to go see a couple movies, and I kind of looked at them as like a double dip, a double movie together. Like sometimes, there's two movies that come out around the same time that are like the same, like Ants and A Bug's Life, or Dante's Peak and Inferno, or whatever, Barbie and Oppenheimer. And those weren't the ones I saw, but all these kinds of movies that kind of go together. But this was not Barbenheimer. I did love going out that weekend. I saw those that weekend. I just love going to the theaters. It's such a fun experience to be able to go out and see stuff with other people in the dark, eating popcorn. Oh my gosh, it's just like heaven on earth. And so that's a nice way that I like to try to connect with people, because it's low impact. You don't have to talk for the 2 hours. You still get to take in each other's scents, whether it's a date or a buddy or whatever. You just get to be near each other. You don't have to have the pressure of chatting the whole time. And you got something to talk about before and afterwards. So what did I see? I went to the theater, my favorite theater downtown, the Metro, and I saw The Roses with my mom, a movie about divorce. Cumberbatch, Coleman, Academy Award nominees and or winners. And then on my own, I tried to get friends to see it, but nobody was either interested or available. I saw Splitsville, which is like 2 movies about marriage and divorce and breakups and all the messiness that comes with it from very different perspectives. And I really enjoyed both of them. I laughed a lot. Um, the Roses was funny. It was like I was sat in the back with me and my mom, and then there was a bunch of like couples in their 60s that saw it when we went there, and that was fun. It was on Tuesdays you get cheaper tickets at the Metro. So if you're a member, I don't know if it's if you're a member or just in general, but 2 tickets cost us $10, and that was awesome. So really liked the movie, laughed a lot, really funny. Uh, funny look at marriage and ego and kind of what happens with some of the power dynamics shift as far as like success and money and that kind of stuff, and just kind of this semi verbally abusive couple and their kids and how that all played together and their different work lives and their successes and failures and how that took its toll on their relationship and ultimately what ended up happening. And there was some really funny supporting performances by Andy Samberg, Kate McKinnon. It was a lot of fun time. Enjoyed it a lot. And then I saw Splitsville, which is another kind of look at like kind of a younger perspective on marriage, like people around my age in their 30s and 40s kind of a deal. And it deals Splitsville, it kind of like, you watch the preview and they talk about an open relationship and an open marriage and that kind of stuff and how that played into a relationship. And that was super funny. And there was 2 main couples in there, and there was some twists and some really funny kind of scenes throughout. I liked what they did with it. It was kind of fun. One of the main you see some full dude's dong, and the 2 main actors, they wrote it together. I think is what it was, and I was like, oh, this dude just wanted to like be the love interest of 2 gorgeous women, show off his big swangin' dong, and have it all work out somehow, And I was like, that's an auteur for you. But and only one of them directed it. One of the guys directed it. But you got to know that on that movie set, they're both like super directing or producing together at the very least. Like, okay, here's what this is going to be. This is what we had in mind for that, and so on and so forth. But both of the guys both looked, good and bad in a variety of ways throughout, and I just really enjoyed it. And there were some fun twists, and I would definitely recommend both. And so, yeah, both Splitsville and The Roses, fun looks at divorce and relationship issues and what it might mean to be a human in a relationship as you grow and learn about what you want and need. So definitely check them out if you got the time. But yeah, I'm also going to try to do silly little reviews here and there of movies because I love the movies, and I'm going to keep talking about them. There's always fun stuff coming out. I'm watching a bunch of TV shows, like I said, about aliens and other stuff right now. Just started Black Rabbit on Netflix, enjoying that. Kind of like, it's like if The Bear met Sunday night HBO. So it's got some restaurant stuff and some mobster stuff, some seedy underbelly of New York stuff. Jude Law and Jason Bateman. Fun cast, and just the first 2 episodes have been pretty gripping. So Black Rabbit's another fun watch if you're looking for something in that vein. It's like Ozark in New York. It kind of got that Ozark vibe. Even though I never watched Ozark, I know people really liked it, said it was pretty intense. Jason Bateman taking another kind of role in that vein. So, yeah, I think that's going to do it for the episode today. And next week, do I have? I have a doctor's appointment next Monday. So after that, I'll have a little more stuff to check in about. And looking forward to the week ahead. Looking forward to getting some of the pilot written, a little more of that. Looking forward to getting some more of that studying in the NASM certifications. Maybe, who knows, maybe by next week I'll publish a YouTube video or two, or maybe I'll just wait on that for a while. We'll see kind of how I feel about it. So hope you're doing well. Hope that this finds you chugging along, chug-a-lug-a-lugging, and doing your best, finding joy in something, petting a cat, hugging a friend, touching a butt, doing all that good stuff, eating some food. Don't forget to eat some food and drink some water, everybody. Take a shower. Oh my gosh, I've been back on the showers lately. Loving the showers. Showers make me feel like a man, like myself. Make me feel like a new man. You know what I mean? And so I got to go with a little more care. I got the poofy side of hair because I washed it last night, but feeling good about that. So do something that makes you feel good today. Let me know what you're doing that's making you feel good. And I will see you in 92, dog. 92, that's it. That's next week. This was 91. So, signing off. Appreciate you. Have a great day.
Jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. Not jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. With Rudy Tyburczy.